What's going on, everyone? My name is Sherwin, and in this video we're gonna go over the numbers that I got for the Model Y Juniper. Just as a reminder, this is not financial advice or anything like that. I'm merely just sharing with you all the numbers that were given to me and that I accepted. So the first thing I want to go over are the discounts and promotions that are or were available and that I took advantage of. The first one is the inventory promotion, where you get to select from one free option. Normally they will just take the highest one, and that's the discount they will apply to the car. So for instance, if you were to select one from inventory with the 20-inch Helix 2.0 wheels, that is a cost of $2,000, and they will deduct that from the purchase price of the vehicle. Another one is the exterior paint, where you can get a discount up to $2,000 depending on which color you choose from. Quicksilver and Ultra Red are the most expensive at $2,000. So what I ended up getting, because they didn't have that much left in inventory, was the pearl white multi-coat paint for a discount of $1,000. I originally wanted either Quicksilver or Ultra Red, leaning more towards the Ultra Red because I see so many Quicksilver Junipers out there, like it was the new white. So but it didn't work out. I ended up getting the white, and Abby wanted the white. So right after I chose this, like there was none left. Everything was either no inventory discount, or yeah, that was it. Like, yeah. So good thing I picked it. The other possible promotion you get through inventory is the interior white color at $1,000, and there's also a tow package for $1,000. Now, out of factory, when you get the tow, it's $1,000, but if you get it afterwards, it's $1,300. The previous Model Y Performance I had did have a tow package on there, because at that time I didn't have a truck or any vehicle with a hitch to it, so I figured let's go get one. But this one does not have a tow hitch. From the inventory promotion, what I took advantage of is the white paint color, and I got it for free. I didn't want the white because, as I shared with you in the previous video, I just didn't like how that door panels, I didn't like it. I liked the seats, the white seats, I liked it, but whenever I look at the door panels, it just wasn't my cup of tea. So I just opted to get the white color instead of, because they had the gray one, is it the stealth gray, which is the free paint with the white interior. I could have chose that because I don't mind the stealth gray and all, but yeah, I'd rather just get the white exterior color. Another promotion they're running is you can get verified through ID.me if you are in the military or a veteran or in education and first responder. So I was able to qualify myself for that and received an additional $1,000. And then I have another $500 loyalty discount because I am an existing customer. So one thing I did forget after I signed and took delivery and everything is I had $483 in my Tesla wallet from Tesla Referral. So shout out to you all who have used my Tesla referral code to purchase your Tesla. Man, thank you very much. There's 2 of you that are still pending, but it's not available on my wallet yet. So congratulations to your upcoming delivery. Hope all goes well. And once again, thank you for using my referral code. Next, I want to talk about lease versus purchase. For me, whether you lease or purchase, that $7,500 will go towards the down payment of your car. You still get taxed for the amount prior to the $7,500. So let's say that the vehicle is $50,000, and after they take out the tax credit, it's like $43,000. Well, you're getting taxed for $50,000, not that $43,000 or $42,500. That's not where you're getting taxed, because they take that discount off after they apply the taxes and everything. So just keep that in mind. If I were to lease, I would be looking at 24 months and either 12 or 15,000 miles annually. I do a lot of driving, but I wanted 24 months only. The last few vehicles I've had, I don't keep them long. So either the manufacturers give me a good deal, or I just fall into this situation where I think it's a pretty good situation, so I take advantage of it. Just looking at that, I'm like, yeah, I might as well do like 24 months, because who knows what's gonna come down the road. But I'm gonna put up on the screen the breakdown for a 24-month lease, either 12,000 miles or 15,000 miles. You could pause the video and check it out. Keep in mind, this is like based on credit and stuff like that. But this is something that you could do yourself. If you go on their website, it'll give you some estimates. These are just estimates. Since I did not go through the lease process, this was the estimate that was given to me. Based on the money factor that they've provided, the equivalent APR is around 8%, which is fairly high. The monthly price, I don't think it includes taxes, so it's probably another $100. So it's floating around $500-$600 plus tax. We're at $600 to $700, depending on whether I do 12,000 or 15,000 miles. It's getting closer to the amount I would pay if I were to finance it. Plus, I don't like doing down payments on leases, so it definitely will reach that monthly price of what I would pay if I were to just finance it. Sure, it would be less of a time because 24 months versus 60 months, but I ended up just financing it. So $3,250 down, and the monthly is $785 per month at 3.49% through 60 months. Now the interest, I would be paying around $4,000 throughout that 60 months. The trade-in value for my Model Y Performance is $22,100. It's paid off, so that's not like equity or anything. That's just the value of the vehicle. And I wanted to just use a portion of that for the minimum down payment of $3,250. And then the idea would be to get the difference in the mail, which came just over a week after we took delivery. So we do have some things we want to do around the house, so that's what we're going to use that money for. One thing I had to do was I had to call my accountant just to make sure, like, hey, I'm planning to do this. How is it going to affect me? He looked at the records, and we could have gotten a capital gains hit on that $22,100, but he believes we won't because the car depreciated so much. But yeah, so that's one thing I normally do when I try to get these decisions going. I call my accountant, and then Abby and I talk, and like, all right, this is what we're gonna do. So everything lines up. Again, this is not financial advice, so your mileage will vary. Yeah, I ended up just wanting to just finance it. And I usually tend to pay more than what my monthly due is just to get that bill out of the way. I don't like carrying balances. So as much as possible, I try to pay more so that I can end that bill as soon as possible. From the online calculator, I've been playing around. After everything, if I were to lease, then buy out versus financing in the beginning, was a difference of only around $2,000. So even if I stayed with the lease for 2 years versus 5 years, I'd be back at zero. And I probably have to owe on mileage because I just drive a lot. So that's another reason I wanted to just finance it, then lease it. I didn't want to purchase this car again like I did with the previous car because 3.49% is a fairly good interest rate. Just a little bit of history with the Model Y Performance. Yeah, we did pay cash, but I look at it as I borrowed from myself to pay off that car, to buy it cash. So what I ended up planning on doing with that car is, even though we paid cash, I told myself that I'm paying myself back $1,200 a month. At that time, the interest rate was a lot higher, and I would have to had paid like $8,000 in interest throughout the loan period. And I think it was a 72-month finance instead of 60 months. So that's what I agreed to myself that I'm gonna pay myself back $1,200 a month. And yeah, so even though it was paid off, I kind of had a car note of $1,200 a month. With $785 a month instead of $1,200 a month, I could use that difference in either investing in things, or pay down the loan a lot quicker, or prepare for higher insurance rates, because we are in California. More on that later. So if you're wondering, if I were to use the entire $22,100 as down payment, what would my monthly look like? Well, that monthly would be around $441. More than likely, it's $14,600 plus $7,500 from the tax credit, based on the calculations I inputted in AI. That's what it gave me. So I would still be left with $7,500, or I could have probably did like a $29,000 down. That's no, I don't want to do that. I mean, 3.49% is a pretty good rate in my opinion. So I decided to just do the minimum down payment. So I want to talk about just the buying process. This one, man, this one wasn't as streamlined as before. This is our 7th Tesla and our 9th EV. Wow. Maybe it's because of how we wanted to do things or what we wanted to do, but there was this glitch that prevented us from only paying the minimum down payment. What the app kept trying to do was the minimum down payment was $22,100, which is the value of the trade-in. So I'm going back and forth. One of the frustrating thing with Tesla is everything is done through like the chat app or whatever, or you can call and just be on hold for a long period of time. So that's what I ended up doing. We're just going back and forth on the chat, and man, yeah. So eventually it got sorted out, but I could not proceed to the financing part. I couldn't do that part until that had to be like that, the amount that we want to agree with. I'm not going to proceed because that's a big difference, from like $3,500 to $22,000 down payment. And like, if I hit agree, I can no longer backtrack. I don't know. They said I could, but look, I just want to cross my T's and dot my I's. Now, during the process of the financing part, I received a handful of phone calls from different banks to verify my identity. And as things moved forward, I kept getting notifications of approval on the Tesla app. Initially, I was getting approved for 4.49, and I'm like, nope, we're backing out. You may think 1% is not a lot, but yeah, no. It was either that, or I was gonna look at the lease once again, or just pay it off in cash. I don't know. 1% is still pretty big in my opinion, but eventually it went down to 3.49% when the smoke cleared and everything. But it was really confusing. Chase was one of the banks that called, and I wanted to just do business with them because I already have stuff set up with them. But it was on a conditional basis, and I did not get any further information on that. So I didn't want to move forward until I figured out what was going on. Eventually I called Tesla, and man, it was a long wait, but they were able to provide me some information. Apparently, because my Rivian lease is through Chase had a conditional offer, and it wasn't 3.49%. So ended up going with a different bank, and was able to finally proceed to the next step. But yeah, a lot of time wasted just because of how Tesla does these things. So even though things are automated, it makes things more difficult with some scenarios that require like manual intervention. So, all right. So insurance, man, remember we're in California. So previously, I was paying $678.22. That's with the Model Y at $184.16, Cybertruck $345, and R1S at $168. This is with a 3% discount. I explained all this in the Rivian R1S numbers. So if you haven't checked out that video, go check that out. Now, currently, the Juniper is now $215.21, up from $184.16. More than likely because it's a newer car, even though it's less of an expensive car, maybe just because it's just a newer car. I don't know, or because we're in California. Cybertruck did go down to $340.51. R1S it stayed at $168.07. Basically, it went up to $703.34 per month, and that's with the 3%. However, my renewal is September 26. I'm gonna lose that 3% discount, and they actually already gave me a heads up. Yeah, after September 26, my monthly premium goes up to $801.30. No more 3% discount. So an increase of about $80 monthly. I'm going to do a separate video talking more about that and explaining to you why I think it went up. But I'm looking to switch. I mean, Tesla used to be the more affordable company to go with, especially in California, but it's starting to not look that way. It looks like Costco is back doing policies in California once again, so I'm looking into that. I am gonna save money, so I'm looking and leaning towards that. And once I get everything situated, I'm gonna do a video. So stay tuned. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe so you could check out that video, which would be coming soon. And if you are in the market for one, please do consider using my Tesla referral code. I also have a Rivian referral code if you want to get a Rivian as well. But yeah, I mean, I try to be as transparent as I can, just giving you these numbers because not many people are willing to share the numbers. Now, this is not a guarantee that this is the numbers that you're going to get, but this is the numbers that I got. And just want to give you guys an idea. Overall, I believe I made a good decision in trading in the performance. Just many reasons that I have. I mean, one of the big ones is just the car. This car is a lot more comfortable and it's my commuter. I daily drive this thing and I spend a lot of time in it. So just that added comfort, I think, is already a huge benefit for me doing the trade-in. Yeah, I took a depreciation hit, a really big one on the previous Y. On top of that, FSD on this thing, on hardware 4, it's not perfect, but I could see a huge difference from hardware 3 when I did play around with it. Even hardware 4 Cybertruck FSD, man, I don't know about that one, but they say V14 is just around the corner, so hopefully there's some improvements on that. But I've been very impressed. Although yesterday it was having a bad day. So I just turned it off. I had to take over like 3 times within like 10 minutes. So I'm like, nope, maybe that area where I was at, it was just a lot of things going on. Yeah, the other thing too is I can bring more updated content because this is the newer version of the Model Y. Model Y just, I think, is one of their best vehicles. So that's it for this video. If you like the video, please like. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, and I will see you on the next one.